It's the second Saturday of August, and you're standing over a bin of watermelons at the grocery store. Round ones, oval ones, pale green stripes, dark green solids, $6, $8 for the big ones. You pick one up, you turn it over. You have no idea what you're actually looking for. You give it a knock the way you've seen someone do it in a video once, but you couldn't tell a good sound from a bad one if your life depended on it. You grab the heaviest looking one, carry it to the car, and hope for the best. Saturday afternoon, you cut it open at the table. The inside is pale pink instead of deep red. The rind is thick and white almost to the crust. The seeds are still white, not black. The first bite tastes like slightly sweet water. $6, and half of it goes straight into the compost bin. Here's what I need you to sit with for a second. Picking a good watermelon was never luck. There is no such thing as a lucky melon. There's a set of small checks that farm stand regulars have used for generations, and every single one takes about 10 seconds. None of them cost you anything. Today I'm walking you through 6 of them, but stay with me until the end, because the last one is the one almost nobody has ever heard of, and it's the one that actually separates a decent melon from a genuinely sweet one. Quick question before we get started. Drop a comment and tell me, do you usually buy your watermelon from a grocery store or a roadside stand? My grandfather ran a small produce stand off a quiet county road for almost 30 summers straight. I remember standing next to him as a kid, watching him work through a truckload of melons in minutes, setting some aside and waving customers toward others without ever cutting one open to check. I asked him once, as a curious kid, how he knew. He just said the melon tells you everything before you ever get it home, if you know where to look. It took me years of watching him work to actually understand what he really meant. Here's the mechanism behind all of it. A watermelon ripens on the vine, not after it's picked. Unlike a banana or an avocado, it doesn't keep developing sugar once it's cut loose from the plant. So every clue about ripeness has to come from something that happened while it was still attached and growing. The color underneath, the marks on the surface, the way it sits in your hand. Once you understand that the melon can only tell you about its past, not promise you anything about its future, you stop guessing and start reading evidence, the same way a good used car buyer reads wear patterns instead of trusting a fresh coat of paint. Let's start with the first and honestly the most reliable sign there is. Turn the melon over and look at the spot where it rested on the ground while it grew. That patch never saw sunlight the whole season. If that spot is a rich, buttery yellow, almost like the color of melted butter, that melon stayed on the vine until it was properly ripe. If that spot is pale white or barely tinted at all, the melon was pulled early, and it will taste like it. This single check on its own will save you more disappointment than anything else on this list. That covers the ground spot. Now here's the part almost everyone skips, and skipping it is exactly why so many people still end up with a watery melon even after checking the yellow patch. Press the rind gently with your thumb. Not a poke, just firm pressure. A properly ripe melon gives just slightly, the way a ripe avocado yields a little without leaving a dent. Rock hard means it was picked before its sugars fully developed. If it feels soft and almost spongy under your thumb, it's already past its peak and starting to break down inside. You're aiming for that narrow middle ground, a small, confident give and nothing more. Maybe you're thinking, that's fine for a farm stand, but the melons at my grocery store are already stacked in a cardboard bin and half of them have shrink wrap on the cut stem. Fair point. Every test in this list still works in that setting, you just do them a little faster and skip straight past whichever ones the packaging blocks. The ground spot and the give both work in any store, wrapped or not. Now for the sound test. Since I know most of you have tried this one before, even if nobody ever explained what you were actually listening for. Cup one hand against the side of the melon and give it a firm knuckle tap or flick with the other. A deep, hollow, almost drum-like sound means the inside is dense with juice and the sugars have fully developed. A flat, dull thud means the flesh is still tight and underripe. A dead, muffled sound with almost no ring to it at all usually means it's overripe and starting to soften from the inside out. Most people know to tap the melon. Almost nobody actually knows which sound they're supposed to hear. Now here's the part I promised you at the start. The one test almost nobody has ever been taught. Look closely at the skin. You're hunting for thin, rough, brownish lines running across the surface, almost like faded scars or a spiderweb pattern pressed into the rind. Farmers sometimes call them sugar lines. Those lines are actually old scar tissue left behind everywhere a bee brushed against the flower while it was pollinating. More bee visits means more even, more complete pollination, which means the melon develops sugar more evenly all the way through. A melon covered in those brown lines is almost always the sweetest one in the whole bin, and a perfectly smooth, unmarked rind usually means the flower barely got visited at all. I want to be straight with you. None of these checks are magic, and no single one is a guarantee on its own. A melon can have a great ground spot and still disappoint you if it sat too long in a hot truck, and seedless varieties can also behave slightly differently on the tap test. These are odds in your favor, not a promise. Use 2 or 3 of these together rather than relying on just one, and you'll be right far more often than wrong. And if you already brought home a disappointing one, don't toss the whole thing. Underripe melon works well pickled or stir-fried, the rind especially, since Asian and Southern cooking traditions have been turning tough, unripe rind into something genuinely good for generations. Overripe melon blends beautifully into a smoothie or gets frozen into popsicles, since the softness that ruins a fresh slice barely matters once it's pureed. Even the seeds can be rinsed, dried, and roasted with a little salt, so almost nothing here actually needs to end up in the trash, even from a melon that let you down at the table. So let's put it all together, quickly, one more time. Check the ground spot for that buttery yellow color. Press gently for a small, confident give. Tap for a deep, hollow sound rather than a dull thud. And finally, before you put anything back, run your eyes over the rind hunting for those brown sugar lines, because that's usually your tiebreaker between 2 good-looking melons. This 3 best melon hacks make summer even more delicious. First, save the seeds. Thoroughly wash a few large seeds from the sweetest melon, let them dry completely on a paper towel, and store them in a cool, dark place in a screw-top jar. Next spring, you can sow them in potting soil and grow your own melons. Second, serving suggestion. Cut the melon in half, then slice it into wedges, cubes, or small balls. You can easily make the balls using a melon baller or a small round measuring spoon. This makes for a particularly attractive and practical way to serve it. For extra freshness, chill the melon before cutting and serve it over ice, especially on hot summer days. Third, my favorite recipe melon combined with tomatoes and mozzarella. With olive oil, basil, salt, and pepper, you can whip up a fresh, sweet and savory summer salad that's perfect for a barbecue. A splash of lemon juice adds an extra touch of freshness.